Welcome to The Art of Leverage. I am Tiffanie Kellog, and I'm super excited today to be joined by Scott. Welcome, Scott.
Hey, Tiffanie, how you doing?
Oh, I'm so excited to have you here with us today. Tell us a little bit about Mobilization Funding. What is it? What's it all about? Where did it come from?
Well, one, thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to talking to your audience and sharing a little bit about us. Mobilization Funding is a short-term lending company. I like to refer to us as a specialty lender. We have a very specific focus that's for small businesses. They could be small as definitive to everybody, but our typical customer is anywhere between typically $1 million in sales or as much as even up to $30 or $40 million in sales. I would say our sweet spot is probably that $3 million to $10 million company that's experiencing a lot of growth, or they have an opportunity for a lot of growth. And that can also often be $1 million or $2 million company and growing. Our specific type of lending program is great for customers who are trying to, they know what they're doing. They do it really well. They have a lot of opportunity to do it, and they're executing, but they know that taking on that bigger project, that bigger contract, that extra customer, larger orders, that's the point where that cash flow just gets so tight and starts to cause a lot more stress. And now your business is running you, so to speak, instead of you being able to run your business. We are that lender that can help you provide dollars to you to help you execute on your revenue cycles for your specific projects without you having to worry about getting a long-term or a giant loan. So per project, we can do loans. We'll assess that loan. We'll assess that entire project for you from a cash flow perspective to see how much money you actually need and when you need it, and then help you use the loan dollars to buy either materials or pay for your labor or equipment or any project-related expenses. We have a very strong focus in commercial contracting for construction, but we also do a lot of work. That's probably 55 or 60% of our business. It's probably a great majority of the focus we talk about, but a lot of our clients are also manufacturers, professional services, engineers, staffing, all kinds of businesses. If you think this is what I do and I have more opportunity, I just need some money to help me execute this opportunity, I would do it. We're a good fit for that.
Gotcha. So you mentioned like 55% of your clientele are like the commercial construction. What kind of companies specifically, not like the actual name of the companies, but what kind of industry specifically do you find really do well utilizing you?
Yeah. So think of construction. That's good. I'm glad you asked that question. We don't really work with a lot of general contractors. Our typical contractors are the commercial contractors versus residential. Residential projects, if working for like a large home builder, yes, we do work in that space, but it's your traditional trades, your electricians, your plumbing, your structural steel. It could be anything going in the ground, your site contractor, roofing, all the walls, installing windows, anything that's really as a trade contractor on a project is a great fit for us.
Gotcha. And why do you find they need you?
So in construction specifically, it has a very tough cash flow cycle, unlike any other business, candidly. So if you think about construction, I mean, for your audience and for those that don't know, construction basically is you have to do all the work up front. You get this great contract, which has a ton of value in it, both profit and revenue. But what happens is you have to spend a lot of the costs before you ever receive any of the money. So there's no deposits, there's no money up front, there's no bill for it to start. You have to front load all those costs, and they can be pretty significant. Your average commercial construction project can be anywhere from tens of thousands of dollars to millions of dollars. Wow. And so you're spending hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of a very small period of time. Well, at the same time, your traditional lenders and banks don't really want to lend into that industry because they don't understand it. They don't understand performance payments or progress billing. So it puts it on the contractor to basically have to use their supplier terms, if they have them, or just kind of claw and fight and grit their way through the project until they can start to get some money off the job. So the way it typically works is you work for the month. You can only invoice once at the end of the month, and then you get paid 30 days later. So you're typically out 45 to 75 days, depending on when you start a project, before you ever receive any money. And even when you do, you're definitely not cash flow positive right off the first chunk because you've already pretty much spent 2 months worth of expenses. And so that's why they need us. Using our dollars up front to help pay for those expenses, it doesn't mean that they need profit to necessarily to pay all that back. It just means they need to wait for their project to pay them so they can pay back those costs. And by us creating a loan for them to use those dollars in a short period of time, it allows them to be very, very efficient with the job. They can get out on the job. They don't have the stress of how am I going to make payroll every week? Where am I going to get my material suppliers from? I need to put some deposits down, but I'm not going to be paid for 40 days. I got great margin in the job, but I can't execute on it, so they don't take it. So we were able to help them really grow and fuel that. And more importantly, not just dollars, but that cash flow cycle, and building that cash flow cycle for them can show them exactly how much you need, where you need it, and how to use it.
Now, I think I remember you saying you have a free tool on your website to help with that. Is that true?
We do. Yeah. So we are a company that wants to serve. We learned the hard way early on. We've been in business 10.5 years. Early on, we did a lot of things for ourselves. We thought just being a lender was a great thing to do. But you know what? Anybody can lend money. But if you're not necessarily helping people by just giving them money. Matter of fact, in many cases, we were actually hurting people by not giving them money, because if we could figure out for them that this was a bad project for them, or that the project wasn't structured the right way for them, we learned quickly that what was good for our customer is also good for us. And what's good for us is also good for our customer.
It's win-win.
Yes. And so this project cash flow tool is really the missing piece for most small businesses. So most small businesses know what their costs are, and they know what they're trying to do to execute that work on a specific period of time. But very often, in just growing up and hustling in the business, you don't really realize, well, how does that flow? Okay, so I know if I have a $400,000 purchase order or contract, and I know I have 20% margin, but there's $320,000 of cost I have to spend, so to speak. Where do I spend that in this 3-month project of mine, or this 3-month revenue cycle? Is it all up front? Is it perfectly spread out every month? And when am I going to start to receive that $400,000? And what do I need to do? And if you go into a job thinking that $100,000 is enough, when you really need $200,000 before you break even, that 200 of the 320, then you could really get yourself in a pinch. And so that cash flow tool that we created is what answers that question for you, for a business owner. And it really empowers them to make great decisions upfront, proactively, instead of getting out in the middle of it and being reactive. And it allows them to take advantage of the opportunities they have for the great work they do.
Gotcha. Excellent. Love it. So it's a great tool, makes it easy to use. How do you find that you find most of your clients? How are they finding you?
It's a good question. So and that project cash flow tool is on our website. We talk about it a lot. And to answer your second question about how do we find customers, we learned that educating and serving is the best way to provide value. And so we do that first and foremost in our business, whether we can create tools, whether we can create content, whether we can use relationships, other customers that we have already, people that are at different stages of business. We try to bring them on, whether it's our podcast, or whether it's my LinkedIn, or whether it's our company LinkedIn, or webinars we do, or the business affiliations with the trade groups that we work with. We try to provide as much content and education for free, either on our website, on our LinkedIn, or through our tools, such that we can make companies, their business owners' lives easier to help accomplish their goals. And if we can help them accomplish their goals and they learn something or avoid mistakes from that, then they're also learning that there's options out there for how they may want to fuel their growth. Or when they're working with their friends or their family members, hey, you know what? You can trust them. They gave me these information, and they might be a good option for you if you need to borrow money for this project you're coming up on. And it really did two things. One, it brought customers to us, but two, it also brought a lot of knowledge and awareness to that customer first, so that they know that we are, or where we are not, a good fit for them in certain spots. And being super candid about that upfront to help, but also what we can and can't do, really made a big difference. And once we started that about 4 or 5 years ago, that is when we were really able to grow as a business ourselves.
That's excellent. It's always great to hear that, we found this and what's working. And I love the content creation. Sometimes it's about let's just share the content. And I think you just had a big book come out recently.
I did. I wrote a book called The Big Book of Cash Flow. And in the spirit of that, so we're 10 and a half years in business. And so I launched that book just earlier this year in March. And so, 9.5 years, I learned over the time that what business owners, myself included, struggle with, and what other customers struggle with, those business owners. And cash flow is one of those things that's very intimidating. When you're a business owner, you feel like, or even just an entrepreneur inside of an organization or an executive, not everybody understands math so much, but you're going to be surrounded by it. But I found that there's so many terms, and a lot of people use big terms and they put these fancy words together, and then you get intimidated. You feel like you're supposed to know. And I say all that because that's how I used to feel. And then you realize, one, not everybody really knows what they're saying. Number one. Number two, it's a lot less complicated than people like to make it sound sometimes. And three, you just need to know what the information is. And so I decided to write a book that broke down cash flow in the most simple and basic terms that will get you basically 95% of the way home. Unless you have some very special, intricate workings of some kind of business, what you really need to know is what's the difference between margin and profit? How do I realize profit? What's cash flow? What does my P&L look like? What's accrual accounting versus cash books? What's the benefits of those? How do I project the cash flow? Why is accounting important? Little basic things. And I included all these tools and information so that any business owner can grab that book, read it, and be at peace and ease with what they need to know versus being intimidated and asking.
Awesome. I love it. So where do we go? What's the website? Where do we go to find the book, to get the free tool, all of the other fun goodies? Where can we go for that?
So you can get the book. So on our website, mobilizationfunding.com, to the resources page, there's a separate page there that has all of our resources on it. So any piece of content, all of our interviews, our YouTube channel is an excellent place to find all of that. On our website, you can get access to the book and all the tools that are in there. You can also buy the book on Amazon if you like, but all the tools and information are on our website for free. If you like the book, also, you can certainly get the book, but you don't need to. You can get the access to all the tools on our website for free.
Gotcha. Well, sometimes it's nice to have the book. There's something to be said about in hand, or maybe I'm just old school. Anyway, old school moving.
I like paper books. Yeah, okay. I don't even use them. I carry an iPad around, but I buy hard copy books.
If I'm reading fiction, I'm fine with the, or if it's more like biography type, I'm fine with the Kindle or the e-reader. I've been through 3 of them, so I use them quite frequently. But if it's business book or I'm working on it book, I want that in hand. There's something tactile about the learning. So we talked about the past a little bit. Tell me, what's the vision for Mobilization Funding over the next 5-10 years?
So we want to be the best in the world at banking small businesses and showing them how to grow using very pointed and specific loans that they can use short-term to execute on their revenue opportunities. We don't want to take equity in businesses. We're not a private equity company. We are just a lender that can help directly business owners and businesses grow by taking advantage of doing exactly what they do and utilizing their contracts, their purchase orders, master service agreements that they already have, or new customers, but take advantage of them in a very responsible way so that they don't grow their company out of business. Too often, we've seen companies grow a lot top line revenue, and the business owner is like, you know what, this is awful. I'm a $10 million company now, and I'm still working for the same paycheck. All I have is more stress, more employees. I'm still more stressed about how I'm going to make payroll. And it doesn't need to be that way. And sometimes if you grow with the right foundation and you take the right steps, you need help doing that. And we can be a lender that can help provide capital, but we can also be a lender that can help you grow in a nice, responsible way that allows you to take advantage of the opportunities, but in the right structure for you. And then also give you access to the capital you need to do that.
Excellent. Love it. Now, I know you've got an event happening in a couple of months. Can you tell us about your event in October?
Yes, in October, and we're going to lock the date in. It'll be in Tampa. We've done several live events before. We did one in Dallas. We've done one in Washington, D.C. last year. This year, it's going to be in Tampa, the next one. And it's typically centered around, we bring a panel together. It'll be subcontractors, general contractors, bankers, trade associations. Like in this particular case, we're partnering with the ABC Gulf Coast chapter, Associated Building Contractors of the Gulf Coast, which is here in Tampa. We're going to do it in Ybor City at Hotel Haya. It will be, we typically have anywhere between 100 to 200 guests there. It'll be a great networking event, but we talk and tackle topics such as cash flow, change order management for construction, how to get approved through traditional lending, what's the best way to develop relationships with your general contractor, winning bids, estimating, and we tackle all different kinds of topics. This one's going to center around cash flow specifically, and bidding and estimating has a lot to do with that. But we'll have some of the most premier contractors in the market, both in all different sizes of business and revenue wise. Same with general contractors and some great banking relationships. It'll be a really good discussion.
Sounds like a very fun event for those of y'all. Come on to Tampa. The weather is pretty good. And in October, it won't be blazing hot.
Yeah, October is going to be even better.
Good. So we talked a ton about business, though I do want to make sure we squeeze in a little bit of fun because it is about leveraging. So work hard, play hard. What do you like to do for fun?
Well, right now I have two hands on my family because my daughters are 16, 14, and 12, and they are basically dragging my wife and I around by the hair. But that's been a lot of fun. We like to go to the beach here in Florida. It's great. I do like to golf. I don't get to golf nearly as much, but I like to do that. Exercise and fitness is something that's fun to do here in Florida. I participate in that a lot. But I love working with our team. We have a great time here at work. We're doing lots of fun stuff in and around our business. I think when you can create a business that you can blend your fun and your friends and your work all together while you serve customers, it can really be a good thing that pours into you versus takes out of you, and then you try to fill your bucket. But outside of work, it's really right, all family right now. That's the phase we're in my house.
Well, it sounds like, yeah, you got your hands full with 16, 14, and 12. They are doing all kinds of stuff I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's fun. It's definitely fun. Every time we think we have it figured out, it changes.
So do me a favor, give us that website one more time. So if people are looking to get some of the tools or want to reach out to you to say, maybe I need a little help with my cash flow, where can we do that again?
Yep. The best two places is mobilizationfunding.com online. And then our YouTube channel, which is also Mobilization Funding on our YouTube channel. You can access all of the information and get to anything you need to do from those two places. And then my personal LinkedIn is Scott Peper on LinkedIn. Please follow me, connect there. I'm very active on LinkedIn as well as YouTube, and then our website.
Brilliant, brilliant. Now, last thing before we say goodbye to our viewing audience, if you had to leave one tip for the business owner to help them out, what might be that one tip you want to share with them?
The one thing I would share is it's hard. Business is hard. And just because it's hard doesn't mean you have to suffer. And the one tip I would say is, look, cash flow is king. People say that all the time. Cash is king. But cash flow is very important to your business. It's the way you'll either succeed or fail 99 times out of 100. And so getting control of cash flow is the most important thing you can focus on before you scale your business or try to grow it. And building those good disciplines in place, using these free tools, that whether it's from us or from anyone else, it's important to do that. So if you're listening to this and you've got a business and you've got it to $1 million or $500,000, or you've been in business a couple of years, you're already better off than 99% of most people who started a business. From here, it's all about cash flow and making sure you have good control over that and systems and processes. And of course, people and the right team and talent. But if I leave you with one nugget, it's pay attention to cash flow, use the tools you have out there, whether it's from us or from someone else, and partner with the right people that are going to help you.
Thank you so very much, Scott, for sharing your brilliance with us today. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Tiffany. I hope I can be half of the brilliance that you've said that. I appreciate it. Very kind.
Well, thanks everybody for watching this week's episode of The Art of Leverage. We'll see you very soon for our next episode. Happy networking, y'all.
Thank you. Take care, guys.